Article 18, if we're taking one at a time. Authorizes the creation of a study group or a select committee for which there is ample precedent in the guidance documents that are used for our town meeting format and procedures. The select committee would be established in order to oversee any possible remand of the Beacon 40B case that's pending in Plymouth Superior Court. A complaint was filed challenging the order of conditions that was issued to Beacon to build their 40B project. Not all of the decisions went our way during the appeals process. I'm speaking as far as the 10 residents group is concerned, and as far as the town meeting was concerned. The selectmen unilaterally, without consent or consultation with the residents, settled the case, their part of the case. The residents kept their portion of the case or case going in Superior Court. The appeals were based on very important major issues pertaining to the protection of rare species habitat and constitutional rights of the people, for that constitutional guarantees for protection of the environment. Those were two of the main issues: rare species habitat protection and constitutional guarantees for protection of the environment. Those are two of the main appeal issues that are in Plymouth Superior Court right now. As hard as Beacon and the Attorney General tried to scuttle the appeal, and despite the efforts of the selectmen and Beacon
Joe.
to, okay.
Address the
So
article.
the appeal
Address
was,
the article, not
okay, the
the
appeal
back.
was, there was a lot of pressure on the residents to drop the appeal. However, the judge granted us a hearing on it, originally scheduled for April 14th, now rescheduled to April 27th. So that's what's pending. Now, what could happen with that appeal is that if the judge agrees with our arguments, which have already been filed, which we'll expound upon at the hearing on April 27th, he could remand the case, send it back down a couple of rungs on the ladder, back to the DEP, maybe potentially to the Conservation Commission in town, so that these issues, which we've been fighting for about 7 years, will finally get addressed. So that's where it stands. What this does is it sets up a select committee, this article sets up a select committee to basically monitor that process and to conduct open meetings for anybody who wants to be informed along the way of that process. The remand process would essentially be sending the parties, Beacon and the 10 residents group, back to whatever stage they want to send it back to, whether it's DEP or Conservation Commission, and making sure that the correct and qualified people are at those hearings representing the residents group, representing the broader interests of the residents of Marshfield, to make sure that they are adequately backed up and represented by qualified people at that particular remand hearing. That's what this does. That's the people saying, we think these issues are serious enough that we want to make sure that if there's a remand hearing, that qualified personnel are there to look out for the interests of Marshfield's residents and its environment. The second part of this deals with the fact that even if there is not a remand hearing ordered by the judge, there still will be a select committee in place to monitor the activities at the site throughout the process. The reason that's in there is this: when the selectmen sign the settlement agreement, it contains very scary language in there. If you were a town employee, you could interpret it to mean don't go anywhere near that project, even if you see something bad happening. That's a private developer dictating terms to the voters the stakeholders, the residents of Marshfield, and their town government
Joe,
representatives.
Joe, that's your
So
opinion.
that's what it does, is it provides for representation at a remand hearing, and it provides for potential oversight. Just recently, Beacon started work out, I'll just give you a quick example. Just
No.
recently,
We're talking
Beacon
about
started work out there.
Joe,
and
we're talking about your petition, not your
Okay.
opinion. I have three questions
I'm
for
talking
you.
about justification, but go ahead.
Three
I'll skip
questions.
it.
Number one, how much money do you currently still have that hasn't been spent, that's been authorized by a couple of town meetings?
We don't know. Last time we checked with the $6,000 that the voters again authorized in October last year, it was up around $18,000.
Okay, and what does this 20,000 do?
I put 20,000 hires an attorney and a consultant to go to the remand hearing to represent the interests of the residents and the town as a whole.
Okay, and you want 10 people on this committee?
5.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment or question?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Trish.
Mr. Pecevich, as you know, the town settled.
The selectmen
So-
settled.
The town, on
Joe,
behalf
don't
of
correct
the
her.
selectmen, or on behalf of the town, the selectmen settled this lawsuit. So my question to you is, you want a special study group to study, or an ad hoc committee to study private litigation?
No.
I'm sorry, you're asking for
Okay,
funding for an attorney
Is that a question?
for private litigation?
Is that a question?
That is a question.
No, I'm not asking for funding for private litigation.
Well, the town has no
Number one,
lawsuit here.
may I answer?
Please do. Sorry.
And I know you'd hate to see all your hard work change slightly
Yes.
by resident input. However, number one, you did not settle the case. You settled one portion of the case, the portion of the case that you took over.
Joe, no, we're not going to go there, because that's your opinion.
No, I mean,
We
it's-
know, the town knows what they settled. You have an opinion on
Okay.
what they did. Okay.
we're not asking the selectmen to be involved anymore, because what happened
We're
was.
voters.
The selectmen took a portion of the case.
That's, okay, that's not germane to this. You have your article here.
Okay, so that's,
All right, Joe,
no,
Joe,
I
Joe.
disagree with that.
You can disagree on town meeting floor.
Right.
Anybody else have a comment or question?